Speaking about live streaming, we have something that's been going absolutely wild all over the interwebs right now, and that is Hasan. There's a clip of Hasan right here saying a bunch of different things, and well, let's go ahead and take a listen to it to see what he has to say, because this has again been spreading all over social media like crazy. This has blown up like now 8.8 million impressions here, and that's just this post. There are way more than that. This is blowing up like crazy. So let's take a listen to what Hasan had to say.
Yes, a real job can be gruesome. A real job can make you very tired, but a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will. So,
Um, yeah. So basically, there's a couple different things here, right? So actually, let's take a listen again just
be
to be sure.
gruesome. A real job can make you very tired, but a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean?
It really depends on the job, right? It really depends on the job. What job it is, if it'll suck the soul out of you. Um, if you work in like a factory, right? Like, I mean, I worked in a factory before. If you worked in a factory, typically factory jobs will kind of suck the soul out of you, because it's like you're doing the same thing over and over again every single day for 8 hours a day,
False.
for weeks on end. That can definitely suck the soul out of you a little bit. But for the most part, the mass majority of jobs aren't factory jobs, right? They're other jobs. And yeah, they don't suck the soul out of you as much compared to like a factory job. I mean, I'm telling you, factory jobs are definitely like one of the worst for sucking the soul out of you. It just is. I mean, again, you're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting something to change, you know? Not real jobs, but normal jobs. Yeah, normal jobs, though, yeah, won't really suck the soul. I mean, well, most definitely. I don't like, I have a couple of friends who, like, I got a friend who does electrical stuff. I don't think that really sucks the soul out of you. I mean, you're getting a different scenery every week or two, and you're messing around with a bunch of different things. You can basically like a decent job is one where you can see progress. In my opinion, if you can't see progress, then it kind of just gets soulless after a while, right? Because I mean, if you're sitting there, working 8 hours a day for weeks on end, and there's no like visual progress happening, it kind of like, I mean, it's kind of disappointing. It's kind of disappointing. Whereas if you have like an electrical job or something, when you get the job done or you progress through the job, you're like, there we go, that's progress. You get it done. Or there's a wide variety of things, carpentry and all that stuff. I've had multiple jobs where my personality completely changed from having to work them. Yeah, I mean, different jobs will affect you differently. I think Hasan worked as a like a in sales, or he worked as like a cashier or something like that at a store once or so. I don't know. And I mean, yeah, at a store, definitely I could see that getting very draining, because again, it's similar along the lines of you're doing the same thing every single day for 8 hours on end. I mean, it can definitely suck the soul out of you a little bit, right? I'm back, but honestly, at some point, I'd be down to run Tarkov. Okay, yeah, we'll have to do that. Um, so yeah, so basically, what he's saying here is that streaming is a very soul sucking job, and I would say that he's right in a couple of ways. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh my god, you sit here on your butt all day long in front of a computer, in front of a camera, and you just sit there and talk, you play video games, you do in the public eye, you do nothing, right? You do nothing for a lot of for those people who don't take streaming as like an actual job. Uh, there's just like you know oh, like streaming's not that hard. But at the end of the day, you have the other people who are like, well, um, well, why don't you do it? If streaming's so easy, why isn't everybody doing it? And that's a great point too, right? So that's a counter argument. Streaming is very soul sucking, but it's tolerable because it's something you want to do, so it's doable. Right, like there's people who had said, oh well, you could shut off your stream. You could shut off your stream whenever you want. You can block people whenever you want. Which, I mean, yes, you could, but it really depends on your situation. Some people have to stream. You literally, some people cannot afford to take a day off. Right now, obviously Hasan here probably definitely could, but some people can't afford to take a day off, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is that, listen, man, being a streamer is really, if you want to be a good streamer, okay, quote unquote, it's not that easy. You got to be always entertaining, always doing something 24/7 throughout your stream, right? Not to mention another thing here too is that, like, a typical job breaks require you to have a break. I mean jobs typically require you to have a break, right? Streaming on the other hand, you could take a break and go stretch or take a breather or whatever, but it's really bad for you. I mean, it's really really bad for you to do. But the main thing that he's targeting here is the social battery, right? Your social battery, you interacting with other people the moment you get off the stream. And I would say I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Working the jobs that I worked and stuff, by people and stuff like that. I mean, I talk to people every now and then. It was fine, but I was never nonstop talking 24/7, right? Where streaming, I am, and I'm not a very, dude. I end the stream and I could go an entire night without saying anything, right? Without saying anything. Um, it's also a bit weird because of the sense of progress, right? I talked about the sense of progress earlier. Like I said, with a job, you can kind of see it a bit more. With streaming, it's kind of, I mean, oh, like, oh, my viewer count went up. Yo, let's go. I'm averaging more viewers today. That's awesome. I got a couple followers today. That's awesome. But then the next day, your channel just dies. It's like, man, can I stay full-time streaming? Right? Can I stay full-time streaming? And that's literally where I am at right now. Because I don't know. I don't know. So it's kind of where I am at right now as well. But yeah. But soul sucking, I would disagree. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it also depends on what you do, right? It really depends on what you do. Um, as well, right? Like, because obviously with streaming, it's a very broad range of things. I mean, there's a wide variety of things that you could do for streaming. And definitely some of them would probably be a little bit more soul sucking than others, but I had a job in telemarketing. Oh yeah, oh, that is soul sucking. Oh yeah, that is definitely that sucks. For a short time during college, yeah, that definitely sucks. But I mean, this has been like I mean, a ridiculous amount of things here, but I mean, let's take a look at what do streamers have to do, right? What do streamers have to do? Throughout the entire live stream, you have to be entertaining. That's one. I mean, if there is you go silent for 1 minute, that 1 minute might be the difference between somebody staying in your stream and somebody leaving your stream. If I go get a cup of water right now and just play some music and nothing else is happening on the screen, um, there's a decent chance, I would say, that somebody will click off. Or if somebody tunes in, they will not sit there and watch. It will probably just leave. So always being entertaining, right? Always being entertaining is something not everybody can do, not everybody's good at. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is that I mean, listen, doing this is pretty demanding depending on what size you are of a channel. Okay, I do believe in the idea that once your channel gets big enough, I mean, you're averaging 100, 200 viewers and you got people in the chat and stuff, your content just kind of makes itself, right? And it just kind of makes itself and gets better. Whereas, you know, if you're a smaller streamer, it's kind of it's a bit of a pain, right? Because you gotta figure out, okay, well, how do I keep people entertained throughout the entire time? My chat's not moving, anything like that. So it really depends on the size of streamer you are. I think once you get to especially Hasan's level, I mean, bro, literally by this person posting this right here, this is free advertisement for Hasan. It really is. It really, really is just free advertisement for Hasan. So I mean, once you get big enough where people start taking clips and posting on YouTube and stuff and all that of stuff that you say, whether it's in a bad light or a good light, honestly, bad light's probably better because you get more engagements. It just kind of, the content just self farms, right? It kind of just self farms. But yeah, if you go wipe your nose, people will bounce. Yeah, probably. Are people giving him crap for it? Oh, yeah. No, this has been blowing up like crazy. And there's a lot of people talking about, oh, streaming is really easy. There's streaming, like, if you're a full-time streamer, you're privileged. You know, you're privileged and all the, yeah, I don't, there's just some like wild stuff going on, right? But I mean, you gotta be constantly creative, right? You got to be constantly creative, right? I mean, if you're gonna say that like streaming is easy, then what about YouTube, right? What about YouTube? What Mr. Beast, what he does, are you gonna call that easy too? Just go do what he did, right? um it's not. Streaming is like a whole nother level, and to be honest with you, I don't think Mr. Beast could even do streaming, all right, at least daily or anything like that. I mean, again, it's like YouTube, for example. I mean, it's all edited stuff, right? It's like, oh, if you don't like that take, you could redo it depending on what it is. Streaming, on the other hand, I mean, it's all live. It is all live. You got to be entertaining throughout the entire time. It's pretty it's fairly demanding. Now, soul sucking, I mean, um yeah, I don't know. That there's yo, what up, Yudian? There's a difference between streaming and creating content. Yeah, right. Right, but I mean, even people think that YouTube isn't even an actual job, but streaming more so. More people, I would say, probably agree with the idea that um, streaming is less of a job than YouTube, right? Um, which, I mean, bro, streaming is a job. I mean, it's depending on what you do it as. You could do it as a hobby, right, which is perfectly fine, or um or you know, you're a full-time streamer and it's technically your job, right? It really depends on how you take it, you know. I would disagree with both from what they are saying. Disagree with, normal jobs can be soul sucking, but streaming is not as easy as people think. Right, right. I mean, it's really not, and there's no real magic trick to it either. But yeah, normal jobs can, or real jobs, according to Hasan here, could definitely be soul sucking. It really depends on the job. I mean, saying job is a uh, very wide term. There's a lot of jobs. There's millions of jobs that do all sorts of things. Some are better than others, but at the end of the day, it all depends on what you like, right? And if you really enjoy what you're doing, then I mean, who really cares, right? Who really cares? Um, let me see. Actually, Hasan did respond here. Hasan did respond here. I feel like this had to be sarcasm. I don't know. I don't believe he's that dumb. Okay. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find his Twitter. Let's see. Hasan. What is his Twitter? There we go. I found it. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see here. What's harder than this? Twitch streaming. Okay. Wait, hang on. Let me. So here's another thing that he mentioned here. It is wild how this completely out of context clip made its way to Twitter so fast. I was talking about how much a 9-hour stream eats away at my social battery and how I can't socialize after, which honestly, I would definitely agree with that a bit. I mean, when I do, I mean, I don't do like a 9-hour stream because I mean, I'm not as big as Hasan. I can't make that work as much. But like if I do a really long streamer, I mean, just a regular stream, I could stream for 6 hours, right? It's my normal hours. If I stream for 6 hours, I mean, bro, when I end the stream, I don't really want to go talk and deal with anybody, man. I just talked all day long. I don't really want to go talk with anybody, right? I don't really want to. Um, so yeah. Comparing it to my sales job before, I recognize how fortunate I am every day. Sitting in a chair making millions is such a tough job. I mean, dude, listen, again, it goes back to the thing of like people if people really think it's this easy, why aren't they doing it? Right? If you think it's easy, you do it, and then you see it's not, man. It is not. It's there's quite a bit of work you got to put into it if you really want to, you know, grind. You know, if you really want to grind, um, yeah, yeah, uh, yeah. So this is actually an interesting thing here too is that can you not this is an interesting thing here too is like so here's the context, boom, it's the longer clip. Basically, actually, let's listen to the longer clip. Let's see what this is, because I haven't watched this. To grow on Kick, you should do all forms of social media to farm more viewers, right? Right, but it's a matter of like what, right? Like what kind of social media, right? How do you organize it? How do you plan it, on what to focus on to grow the social media to farm more viewers, right? Like how, or what do you do? And it's a matter of, I don't know, just should have figured out, I guess. It's pretty hard. So this is a full context clip. Let's take a listen.
No, 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 no. Social battery wise, unless you're in retail, unless you're in fucking retail, it's very different. You're out of touch. I'm gonna die, dude. There's motherfuckers who are accountants in here and they're misunderstanding what I'm saying. A real job does not expend your social battery in the same fucking way as someone who did a sales job, a real job. Okay. I'm telling you, as someone who did both, like 9 hours of constant performance and people pleasing taps you out from social scenarios. After 9 hours of that, I could probably do fucking physical labor. It would not bother me, but I can't fucking do more social shit. That's my point.
Interesting. Yeah. So he's saying like, I mean, sales and stuff, things where you have to like interact with other people, right? Things where you have to like interact with other people are kind of similar on the same lines, right? If you're sitting there, you're a cashier for 8 hours a day, um, I mean, yeah, that will definitely bother your social battery. I mean, you got to sit there and, deal with the people, and especially forget if you even have a problem. If you have one Karen walk in and you have to deal with a Karen, that'll kill you for the rest of the day, you know? Streaming, on the other hand, yeah, I mean, I would say he's got a point there of, gonna go make food, beer. All right, sounds good. I think he's got a point there because, like, yeah, for again, streaming, taking breaks is bad. I mean, it's just generally bad news. So it's kind of like nonstop. However many hours you live stream for, you have to be, your target is to be peak performance, right? To be peak performance. Now, like I said, it kind of depends on how big your channel is. I mean, somebody like Hasan, even though when he's doing just chatting, you'll average 20 to 30K viewers. But if he goes and plays a video game or whatever, he'll average like 10K viewers, right? He's a channel that it doesn't really matter what he does. He's a big enough channel now. Um, so, uh, but regardless, it really depends. But I do understand. Yeah, and people pleasing, right? I think the people pleasing really depends on the target audience that you want. If you want well, I mean, yeah, it really depends on the target audience that you want, because depending on that will depend on how much you want to people please or not. I wouldn't say that I really people please like crazy, very, very, very much. I just kind of, go ahead and do my own thing, so it really depends on the type of target audience that you want, the target community that you want, for the people pleasing level.
Like,
What else
there
does
are
he have to say?
obviously real jobs out there that are good comparisons. Service sector, people pleasing jobs would be very similar. Those are like, I think, customer service type shit. But like, if you're an accountant, or if you're even like in sales, my interactions with clients was limited, way more limited than like constantly having to do this for 9 hours with like a back and forth interaction for 9 hours. That's what like sucks your social battery. And you
I mean, let's just say this, right? Let's just say this. If you work from home off your computer, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. If you work from home, that's fine. Um, but depending on what you're doing, you might not have to sit there and talk all day. I mean, even if you're like an executive and you got meetings throughout the entire day, um, it's like, throughout those meetings, it's not like you're talking the entire time the meeting's going, right? You're kind of like, you talk every now and then, you listen, you take notes or whatever, discuss. Then you have like breaks in between meetings sometimes, so you have some of that. Streaming, on the other hand, you don't. There's no such thing as a break typically. I mean, you shouldn't take one anyways, realistically, even though, I mean, you should, but also shouldn't. It's really bad for you in terms of your channel, but it's really good in terms of your mental health, your mentality, whatever. But he's basically saying that, like, at least with whatever jobs, accountant or whatever, I mean, you're sitting there, you're doing the work yourself. You don't have to sit there and talk 24/7, um, or socialize 24/7. You just do your job, you know? Um, and so that doesn't kill your social battery as much, which, yeah, I would
just
agree.
tap out after it.
I would agree with that a bit.
Yeah, think about it this way. Like, you give presentations for your job, right?
Oh yeah.
Imagine giving a presentation for 9 hours straight. It's like, after a while, you would be like, I don't want to talk ever again.
That's an interesting analogy, right? Like, think about you doing a presentation for 9 hours. That's actually a great point, right? Like, go watch, the Nvidia showcase and stuff like that, all those things. Go watch those events. You know how they're on stage with a microphone, they're talking about whatever the heck they're talking about. Imagine doing that, but they only do it for like maybe an hour at maximum, but most of the time they switch out or they have breaks because they play a video or something. Streaming, on the other hand, is not quite really that. I mean, again, it really depends on your channel, of course, but and what you do, but yeah, I mean, think about it like that. That's actually, I would say, a fairly accurate analogy. Or think of it like this. You know how you get up in the morning and you watch the news. You want to figure out, what's going on, right? You want to watch the news. Think about that news channel and those people being there on the news live for 8 hours plus a day. Okay, 8 hours plus a day. They're just there from a certain time to another certain time. They are there all day talking about the news. Do you think there's enough news to go around for that? Probably not, right? Probably not. Are they going to talk the entire time? They probably should, but then again, they have other people they can bounce off of, and it's not just one person typically. So it's kind of like, That's the kind of analogy that I use, sort of, when I explain like what I do at the moment. Anyways, is like think of it as think of it as basically yeah, I mean, think of it as like a news anchor, right? A news anchor, it just like but nonstop. It's quite interesting, but again, like I said, it all depends on your channels. So I don't know. But this is actually a great point here that he said. My favorite part is that Hasan will gain more followers and make more money from everyone wanting to share and crap on his take. Works every time. And although that is that is unfortunately the sad reality, right? This right here has spread like a wildfire all over social media. But this has done basically nothing but good for him. Now it does have a bit of the downside here, which he goes over here. Yeah, dude, I really wanted to be called an a-hole, fake hypocrite, grifter by millions for saying my social battery runs out after 9 hours of streaming, worse than my sales job from the dumbest MFs on the planet. So that is the other aspect of it too. Is I will say streaming compared to, I mean, even YouTube, I would say streaming, I don't know of any other things, is one of the like, is a very hard mentality thing, because I mean, you get attacked all the time. Well, depending on what you do, of course. Again, you could get attacked all the time for whatever, doing stuff like Hasan does, politics and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, he gets attacked all the time. Which, I mean, whatever, right? Um, like attacked all the time by like social media. You know what I mean? By like social media, I mean, people are trying to find your information. They're trying to DDoS you. I mean, you're literally under attack 24/7. You got to be careful what you do. You realize how much I would absolutely love to just be able to live stream my like everyday life, right? If I want to go to the grocery store right now, I could get in my truck, show you guys the outside, and just go drive to the grocery store and drive back, and not have to worry about placing the camera a certain direction, a certain way, or being careful what I have to show, or anything like that. I'd love to do that, man. I'd love to do. There's so much things that I could do, that would be amazing, right? That would be so cool, so entertaining to watch, and I would love to stream it, that I just can't do, because, oh well, you got to be careful with your location and all this and that. Some people don't really care, but some people do. I mean, I don't think it's terrible for me, but because of where I am, it really depends on where you are, of course. But yeah, my last job was retail, burned me out so bad. I can see how streaming is worse. Yeah. Again, it really depends, man. It depends on the day that you had you could have had a bad day in retail, and that's the day that you're recalling. You're like, that was terrible. Streaming is nothing compared to this, But these people who are saying like, the people who are saying that like, oh, streaming is really easy, brother, man, you know how many people fail? You know how many people fail to be a streamer, even though they've put a ton of work into it. I mean, the constant content uploads, all this and that, and they just still aren't able to succeed. Streaming is not easy, man. Otherwise, everybody else would be doing it. If you say that if it is that easy and it's not hard, why don't you do it? Right? Because what are you like saying that you don't want to do something simple? Because you're saying it's really easy and you do nothing. So why don't you do that, right? These people who are saying that, I mean, dude, like, why don't you do it? And then you let me know, you know, and then I'll take a look at you and be like, wow, see, there you go, you're doing it. You're able to make a living off of doing content creation, and it's really easy, right? Yeah, I don't think anybody would say that once you actually try. And I mean, anybody can download OBS to start a stream. Anybody can. But I'm saying doing a regular stream and focusing on streaming every single day at a certain time, planning out that content. Not just everybody can do that. And not just anybody can do that and succeed as well. You know, I worked in a very bad part of town. A good day was bad. Oh, really? Drama content seems to pop off. The world aids degrading as we speak. The world aids. No, I agree. Drama content spreads like a wildfire. Drama content is better than good content. Good stuff that happens, nobody cares. I mean, the massive majority doesn't. They don't care. What people love is the drama stuff. What can I gossip about for this person or that person? What did this person do? Right? Oh, wow, they said that. That's terrible, right? That's terrible. Dwayne the Rock Johnson, I would say his reputation is pretty good, right? I'd say it's pretty good. Bro, he could say one thing that he believes in. I don't know. He likes pineapple on pizza. And then all of a sudden that spreads like a wildfire because, oh, well, I don't agree with that. You're a terrible person. Pineapple on pizza represents this, and it's a um um not a hyperbole, but a symbolism for this, and that you support this. And it's like, dude, it could blow, one little thing can blow up like crazy online, and then that will blow up way more than, hey, Dwayne the Rock Johnson gifted his stunt double a brand new truck, which he actually did, by the way, right? That won't spread as much as the drama. People love the drama farm. They love drama. They want to know other people's business. That's what they want. They don't care if it's good stuff. Who cares what you did that's good? I want to know what you did that's bad, because I can use that against you maybe, or I can at least know, like, well, at least I'm better than that person. The drama thing is ridiculous online. It is insane, right? It is insane. But the reality is, will it ever change? And no, it will not. How is it ever going to change? It is not. And as we progress here every year, as we progress and the new era comes in, the new generations come in, technology is going to keep getting more and more. And this stuff is going to keep getting influenced, and it's going to keep getting bigger and bigger. Dude, it's just, wow, it is wild. But um I don't know. We'll see, dude. We'll see, dude. But I thought this was interesting to talk about it a little bit. It's been blowing up like crazy. Um, but I still think it's crazy that people think that streaming is not a real job. You know what I mean? Um, I still think it's kind of crazy that some people think that streaming is not a real job. It really, again, it depends on what you do. If you are a full-time streamer, then it's your job. What else are you supposed to say? I know it's kind of memed and stuff, but what else are you supposed to say? Right? Some people just do it as a hobby. They do it 4 hours a day and after their main job and stuff. That's fine, right? That's fine. It's all good. Everyone thrives on drama. It's stupid. I agree, Smiler. I agree.